High temperatures are prompting more heat advisories here at home this weekend and a THV11 weather impact alert. Let's bring in meteorologist Simone Thomas now. Simone, it's pretty brutal out there. How long is this going to stick around?
You know, the heat unfortunately will stick around for another few days, but as you just saw on that screen behind Brooke, we've got a few storms out there. We actually have a storm west of the capital city that has prompted that special weather statement from the National Weather Service. So while we are still battling the heat, we do have a few of those thunderstorms out there right now. It seems like the main hazards have been some gusty winds. I think with this special weather statement tag for the storm near the Saline and Pulaski County border, the radar indicated nickel-sized hail in that storm, and of course you see that lightning signature. Now make sure if you live in western portions of Pulaski County, you're staying safe, and where we are getting these few pop-up thunderstorms, that's offering some brief relief to the heat, but again, that is very brief. We do have a heat advisory in effect through 8 p.m. today, and the National Weather Service has issued another one for tomorrow. We'll talk more about that map in a second, but that has also prompted us to issue a THV11 weather impact alert because over the next couple of days, we're going to see temperatures approaching 100 degrees. Full details on everything you need to know are coming up in that 7-day outlook, so make sure you stick around.
All right, thank you, Simone. Tonight, Arkansas State Police are investigating a shooting that took place at Jack's Landing near Remmel Dam Road in Jones Mills, a community in northern Hot Spring County. Right now, information is limited, but police say one person was seriously injured. We will update you as soon as we learn more. Meanwhile, the FBI is offering a reward of up to $5,000 for information on Brandon Jenkins. He's wanted for his alleged involvement in the shooting of 3 people during a home robbery on the Texas side of Texarkana in August of 2023. Federal investigators believe he has since crossed the state line into Arkansas to avoid an arrest. Federal officials here in Little Rock are sounding the alarm on something we might not think too much about. It's our cars, and more specifically, what we put on them. THV11's Carter Thweet tells us what you need to know to keep you and your loved ones safe.
We're promoting education, vigilance, and awareness.
Patrick Calkins serves as commander of the Little Rock District for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. On Thursday, the Corps put out a post warning people about what you put on your car.
It's to promote that vigilance and making sure the general population is aware of what's going on.
Bumper stickers, custom license plates, personal information, it can all add up to tell a criminal an awful lot about a potential target.
By doing certain activities like posting certain stickers on the back of your car, post certain social media posts, it allows them to be vulnerable to those possible types of attacks.
This graphic posted by the Corps sums it up nicely. Stickers about certain activities like hunting or after-school sports signify when you might not be home, or information about where you live, or where your kids attend school. Obviously things not everyone needs to know. And for folks who say this seems unnecessary or even paranoid, hopefully it is, and you're never subjected to one of these attacks. But Calkins stresses it's better to be safe than sorry.
What we want them to do is educate themselves, remain vigilant, and be prepared. And if you see something, say something.
In Little Rock, Carter Thweet, THV11 News.
Thanks, Carter. If you're wondering why the Army Corps are the ones telling people about this, it's because they're part of the larger U.S. Army, which stages Anti-Terrorism Awareness Month every August. And that extends to efforts like this one, making sure people stay safe and vigilant in their local communities. After his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, President Trump is preparing to sit down with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House Monday to discuss an agreement to end Russia's ongoing war with Ukraine. Taureen Small has more.
We had an extremely productive meeting.
Fresh off his summit in Alaska with Russian President Vladimir Putin, President Trump is gearing up to meet face-to-face with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss an agreement to end Russia's war with Ukraine.
There's not that much. There's, 1 or 2 pretty significant items, but I think they can be reached. Now it's really up to President Zelensky to get it done.
The president met for nearly 3 hours with Putin in Anchorage Friday, the Russian leader's first visit with an American president since he invaded Ukraine 3.5 years ago. The president has since backed away from his threats to impose tougher economic sanctions on Russia, indicating on social media Saturday that the best way forward is to move directly to a peace deal without trying for a temporary ceasefire first.
Diplomatic sources tell CBS News European leaders are concerned Donald Trump dropped his ceasefire demand and he and Putin came to an agreement on deal terms that they'll force on Ukraine.
Удари по містах.
On his way back from Alaska, President Trump spoke to Zelensky and European leaders by phone to brief them on the summit. The group praised Trump's efforts to, quote, stop the killing in Ukraine and said they were ready to work with the president and Zelensky towards a trilateral summit with European support. Since the war began, Russia has seized about 20% of Ukraine's territory. 400,000 Ukrainians have been killed or wounded, along with nearly 1 million Russian soldiers. Torian Small, CBS News, Washington.
According to CBS News, President Zelensky has been receiving a lot of coaching on how to interact with President Trump since their Oval Office meeting back in February. Washington, D.C. and the Justice Department have reached a deal to resolve a dispute over control of the district's police department. The DOJ agreed to remove the head of the Drug Enforcement Agency as emergency chief of D.C. Police after D.C.'s Attorney General argued in a lawsuit that installing Terry Cole to lead the force would upend the command structure and threaten the rule of law.
I'm very gratified that the judge today recognized that that is flagrantly illegal, that it violates the clear language of the Home Rule Act, and that for all intents and purposes, the chief of police remains the chief of police.
DOJ also agreed to rewrite Bondi's directive that ended rules limiting cooperation between D.C. police and federal immigration authorities. New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell was indicted by a federal grand jury on Friday, making her the city's first mayor charged with a federal crime while still in office. She, alongside former New Orleans police officer Jeffrey Vappy, are facing a number of charges, including wire fraud and obstruction of justice. The indictment alleges they developed a personal relationship in October of 2021. To conceal it and maximize their time together, they allegedly created a scheme to defraud the city by engaging in personal activities while Vappy was on duty and being paid for providing protection. The pair is also accused of lying to colleagues and making false statements to federal law enforcement agents and a federal grand jury. Hurricane Erin is rapidly intensifying as it tracks above the northeastern Caribbean and, according to the National Hurricane Center, is now a Category 5 hurricane. Erin has sustained winds near 160 miles per hour, something that has more than doubled in the past 24 hours. But it won't stop there, as Erin is also forecast to at least double or triple in size by the middle of next week.
All right, we're taking a look west. You can see that storm approaching the Pulaski and Saline County border. Spotty showers will continue through at least sunset, and the big story continues to be the heat. Full details on everything you need to know are coming up in 5 minutes.